Welcome back, I should say, to these post-series recaps. We took a series off. My apologies. Just life's been kind of hectic right now. Moving out of college, just getting acclimated back in my home. But we are back, and we are back with the full roster here. The rosters may have dwindled in the MLB from 28 to 26 players, but we are increasing our roster size here again at BSML Red Sox to recap the Red Sox versus Orioles series. And I'm your host, David, joined by my two co-hosts, Brady and Ian. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm good. How you doing?
Would be better if the Red Sox were doing better, but just how we're doing right now. How about you, Brady? How you holding up?
Couldn't have said it better myself. I'm excited for the playoffs for hockey and basketball, but I don't know if I see that in future for baseball.
So we'll just get right into it. General takeaways: Red Sox Orioles series. I mean, for me, just how do you screw up this series? I mean, I kind of saw it coming in the back of my head because whenever we play the Orioles early in the season, they always have our number. Right now, it seems like everyone has our number, but this is just a new low. And I'm part of the optimistic crew, as I talked about beforehand on this channel. Like, still early. I mean, this isn't good. We've had a lot of ugly losses so far this year. We've had more ugly losses in April that we should have in just the span of a whole baseball season. But look, this is not good. Nothing inspiring right now by these Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, I feel like it's commonplace that every one of these post series reports that we do, we're always saying, hey, it's still early in the season. We shouldn't get worried just yet. But it's coming time that I'm getting worried. I mean, we're in May now. We're getting very close to, when things start to really heat up. You start to see, okay, these are the legit contenders and these guys are, pretenders. And once we come closer to the All-Star break, I pray to God we don't, but I'm just worried we're going to see more of the same.
Sorry. Yeah,
You're
I
good.
mean, it's been a rough start for the Sox. Um, it's just kind of getting to that point where it's just like you're just kind of waiting for the turnaround now because like you've seen how bad that they can be. Let's just see if we can turn it around as quick as we can, honestly.
Yeah, and Ian, I think you summed it up pretty well. I want to say I saw you post it where at least the Celtics are good. When talking about the Red Sox, at least we have some things to distract us because, as we were just talking about Brady, Bruins playoffs are starting, hockey playoffs as a whole are starting, Celtics are in the second round. So we have a couple things to distract us, but it's also kind of crazy to me how much can change in a year, especially in Boston sports where things happen and flip on a dime every day because at this time last year, the talk of the town was the Red Sox, and the Celtics were, just slumping to a eventual first round exit. But it's just interesting how things change up. And this year, there's a lot of optimism around the Celtics. And, I've had people come up to me and say, already, not even a month into the season, I'm done watching the Red Sox. The Red Sox suck. Bleep Pine Bloom, like screw John Henry. What did they think putting together a team full
Well,
of,
yeah, screw John Henry,
rejects?
but that's not the right mentality to have.
Yeah, it's just I don't give much attention to those fans who just say they're done watching after 20 games. It's pretty stupid, but us Boston fans in any sport, we're pretty impulsive. But we're gonna get into this series, and we're gonna try and wrap it up quickly because this series was painful. But game one was Friday, and it was Friday. It was Bradish versus Hill. Bradish on the Baltimore Orioles was making his first career start, and we had Rich Hill on the bump for the Red Sox. Arroyo hit a two-run homer in the second inning, and it was the first Red Sox homer in 6 days. Red Sox are in a home run drought, guys. It took them 6 days in between homers, and I, you know, as alarming as it is, honestly, if we've all been watching the games, and anyone who's been watching this, if you've been watching the games, the Red Sox have a lot of hard hit balls this year. I forget what the statistic is called. It might have something to do with BABIP, but the Red Sox have had a lot of hard hit balls so far this year, and they just haven't been converting into hits. So, as bad as a drought of being, homerless for 6 days is, we have been hitting the ball as well. It's just we kind of been getting unlucky offensively because we've just been hitting into a lot of outs. But our guys, in my opinion, are doing an okay job of putting the ball in play. At least I don't know. You guys can give your 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting because, like we've said in the past, the offense is supposed to be, it's supposed to be the key to our success here. And they have been doing their job, getting, putting the ball in play and getting on base. But the problem is the fact that they haven't been able to score. So I think that's been a huge problem for the Sox. But I mean, like you said, I mean, they're getting on base. It's just they can't convert anything once they get there.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I didn't watch much, if any at all, of this series. I've been pretty busy recently, but I entirely agree with you. The Red Sox just seem to be hitting a lot of infield flies and, routine fly balls. It's just we got to get on base and we got to do something when we're on base.
So it was 2-0 after the Arroyo homer in the top of the second. And Jackie Bradley Jr. with JBJ on base. Vasquez got a single to right field. Ball went past Trey Mancini's glove in right, so JBJ was able to score all the way from first. It counted as a hit and an error. So JBJ scores. Vasquez is out trying for third on the play, but it was 3-0 in the second. So Red Sox get off to a nice little early lead. As expected, though, because we're facing the Baltimore Orioles, who have been one of the worst teams in the league the last few years. But it's always nice to get off to an early lead. Rich Hill went 4+ scoreless innings. I don't know. It's kind of interesting to me that he hasn't hit 5 innings yet this year. I think the most he's pitched is 4 2/3. And I get it because, again, this is another thing we've talked about on this program where you can't expect too much out of a 42-year-old Rich Hill at the back end of the rotation. But I don't know. It's just interesting to me how it seems like Core always pulls him up at 4 or 5 innings. I don't think he's thrown even more than 60 pitches. So I get it. But, I don't know. I mean, do you guys take much stock in any of that? I mean, it is what it is to me, but I just I wonder if he's on a pitch count or something, and Cora's just not telling us.
I don't know. I think it just is what it is, to be honest. I don't think there's really anything else to go deeper into that.
I have 2 explanations. One's realistic, one's sort of a joke. The realistic one being, I mean, he doesn't really have that, that longevity and that endurance that we want the Red Sox pitchers to have. The other idea I have is it's getting too late for the old man, and he's time to take his pills.
Okay, fair. Yeah, fair enough. We'll evaluate both of those conclusions, and the BSML subscribers will choose which one is valid. But
Me make joke.
Yeah, jokes. We all love jokes. Anyways, Hill
Ryan
goes.
Brazier doesn't like jokes. Ryan Brazier hates joy.
So Hill goes 4+ scoreless innings, and then Tanner Houck rejoins the club in Baltimore because he was unavailable in the series in Toronto due to him not being vaccinated. And Houck comes in, throws 3 scoreless innings of relief. Bogarts, another little quick highlight as we're winding down this game. Xander Bogaerts had a flyout to deep left field in the 6th inning, and this would have been a homer any other year at Camden Yards, but because of the new dimensions at Camden Yards, they pushed back the wall. It's like 398 to deep left now, and it was just a simple flyout. But any other year, Xander Bogaerts hit on that play would have been a homer. And they brought this up, or I believe I saw this online, where just in the span of one offseason, guys, Camden Yards went from the easiest place to hit a ballpark in the MLB to now the hardest place in the MLB to hit a home run at. So just that one little dimension change is going to affect a lot of things. And that was a crazy one when I saw that, where it's just like, dang, if this was any other year, that would have been a homer, but just a deep fly out to the warning track. But other than that, Bogarts I'm sure he'll be fine. He's been having a heck of a year so far.
I'm pretty sure now the easiest ballpark to hit at would be Yankee Stadium and their Mickey Mouse short porch.
Well, that's what I thought too, but I saw it online and it was a valid source. And, I agree with you completely on that, the Mickey Mouse garbage, but enough about the Yankees. Back to the Orioles. We got talking about Bradish again, the rookie for Baltimore. And his first ever MLB start, he had good in this game. 6 innings pitched, only allowing 2 earned runs. Then we go to the 9th. Robles was trying to close it out for the Red Sox in the 9th, but he gave up a homer to Mountcastle, a solo shot to deep left field that cleared the new high wall over there. Made it 3-1. And unfortunately, Robles could not close it out, and the Red Sox unnecessarily had to bring in Matt Strom to get the final strikeout. So the Red Sox do win, but as it's been a theme so far this year. When we win, there's drama. When we lose, it's just an epic failure. So, it's good to pick up a win, and you expect it against Baltimore. But why do we have to keep using extra pitchers?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's been tough watching the way that the Sox have been playing recently, at least with their pitching. It just feels like, I don't know. It just feels like they just have no confidence in the way they're pitching right now. And I mean, with the way that they've been playing, I can see why, but at the same time, like, I don't really know what's going on with it. You'd like to see, obviously you don't want to bring a guy in just to face one inning or one batter after giving up a bunch of home runs when you could have just easily closed it out. But, at this point, it is what it is. Just as long as we win the game at this point, I think I'll be happy.
That's exactly it. We just got to do whatever we want. And, heck, every game's just a playoff game. Throw in Evaldi to close out the game in the ninth. I don't even care if it's game 37 of the regular season. We just need wins at this point. But I'll let you give your thoughts too, Brady.
I feel like you guys said it perfectly. I feel like we expected a lot from Robles after his performance earlier in April. But, sometimes obviously pitchers get tired. They're throwing balls 90 miles an hour right down the pipe. So they're going to get tired, obviously. Sorry, something in my throat. Yeah, but you expect a lot from a pitcher. And when they don't go as long as you want them to, you can't really blame them. Just shake it off, put in a new pitcher, and say, screw it. You can probably still win this.
So Red Sox take the opening game of this series, and we head to game 2, which happened Saturday night. Pitching matchup was Spencer Watkins for Baltimore versus Nathan Evaldi for Boston. Top 1, Bogart's RBI single scored Trevor Story. Red Sox get out to an early lead, 1-0. Evaldi in this game went 7 scoreless innings. I believe he had a no-hitter through 5 or 6 innings, but we're cruising through the game recap for this one because not much happened. And, after 7 innings, a scoreless ball from Evaldi. It was all wasted by Matt Barnes, bottom of the 8th inning. Matt Barnes' woes since the second half of last year continue as he led up an RBI single to Santander in the bottom of the 8th to score Cedric Mullins, tying it at 1. And then bottom of the 10th inning, Robinson Chirinos laid down a bunt, which was fielded by Hirokazu Sawamura. Sawamura threw it to Devers at third to try and nail down Jorge Mateo, who would have been the leading runner, and they would have
threw
been
it 20 feet over his head.
Yep, and I was just going to get to that. Yeah, threw it to Devers, tried to throw it to Devers. It airmailed over his glove and into left field. Jorge Mateo jogs into home plate, and what seemed like should have been a surefire win for the Red Sox turned into a stunning win for the O's in extra innings as they take this one 2-1. And that was a very quick recap because, as I said, nothing really happened in this game, but so much could have happened in this game, guys. There were so many chances in this game for the Red Sox to pile on more runs. It was so painful. And it just felt like throughout the whole game until the very end that, yes, we're leading 1-0 and then the bottom of the 8th game. But up until that point, you just think. And I think we were even we weren't talking during this game, all of us, but just watching this game myself, so many runners left in scoring position. This just goes back to what you were talking about, Ian. It's just like we have to cash in. And we have the guys to do it. Our top 6, I'd put us up in our top 6 in the batting order, up with a lot of lineups in baseball. But, Bogarts, Devers, and Verdugo are really the only guys producing offensively. Something's got to give. And if we can't even do this against the Orioles, just another ugly loss. Really was.
Yeah, Go ahead,
You
Ian.
got it. Now you got it.
Okay. I was watching the score from work, and it was 1-0 for the longest time. And I'm like, okay, we got this dub. I put my phone away. I go on break. I see it. Orioles win in extras 2-1. And I'm like, how in God's name did that happen? I open TikTok after my shift. I see it. Sawamura throws horribly. You'd expect a pitcher to have better accuracy than that.
Well, before you go, Ian, let me just touch on that quickly because I forgot to say that, where it's always so hard for pitchers to throw it to the bases. And I don't know why. Do you guys remember John Lester, having issues throwing overhand? He used to always throw it underhand. I don't know, but go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, this game reminded me of games back in 2017 or 2016 when Chris Sale would pitch an amazing game and they would look like the Red Sox probably should have won, and then they would just end up losing because they couldn't score any runs, and
No run
they'd end up
support.
losing in a heartbreaking fashion. So that's kind of what this game reminded me of. And I don't know. It was just kind of another kind of annoying loss and a long string of annoying losses so far this season. So
I hate to say this, but luckily Sawamura got the loss on that game. And the only reason I know that is because I'm looking at the brand new BSML Twitter page. If you haven't yet, be sure to follow BSML REDSOX on Twitter. Every game day, I post a lineup, and then I post a post-game, quick little summary.
Quick
follow.
little plug. I respect it.
Gotta plug.
But
promo.
5 followers.
I don't. Yeah, get that number up, guys. What the heck are you doing? Follow us on Twitter, please, and thank you.
Boys, you got it.
It felt like in this game, even though we were up 1-0 for the majority of the game, that we were going to lose it because we just couldn't cash in on runs. And then the killer was top 10 when the runner starts on second because of the extra innings rules, as we all know. That's like the second or third time this season where the Red Sox haven't cashed in with the runner on second to begin the inning. That's when you know your offense is doing terrible. When you have a runner in scoring position and no outs to start an inning and you can't do anything. Very frustrating. But we get off of this game and we go to the rubber match, which happened yesterday. Game 3, Lyles pitching for Baltimore versus Nick Pivetta for Boston. This was a pitcher's duel up until the 5th inning, as Xander Bogaerts on the very first pitch of the frame doubled to deep left center. And Franchi Cordero, legend of Worcester, Franchi Cordero, got called up. Yeah, the face of the franchise got called back up to Boston. And he did his job here with Xander Bogaerts at third, hit a deep sac fly to deep right field, made it 1-0. But it'd be all for naught as bottom 5, Nevin on the Baltimore Orioles hit a 2-run single to make it 2-1 Baltimore. Also in the bottom of the 5th, Santander sac fly made it 3-1. And bottom of the 6th, right before the rain delay, Ruben Odor 4-1 solo shot. Solo shot to deep right, made it 4-1 Orioles. So the Orioles scored 4 unanswered. Then we have a rain delay. Just when you think, when it rains, it pours. I felt like that rain delay was quite symbolic of how the Red Sox season has gone up until this point. This rain delay lasted just over 2 hours. Felix Valdez comes in after the rain delay and goes 2 innings and gets lit up for 4 runs. So the Orioles in total scored 9 unanswered runs to make it 9-1. It got so bad that Cora literally just waved the white flag by having Kevin Plawecki come in and throw an inning. And the final score will be 9-5 as Shady Martinez hit a grand slam at the top of the 9th to make the score look a little bit prettier. But Red Sox get routed in the final game of the series against the lowly Baltimore Orioles to lose 2-3 to the Orioles. And it always seems like, again, that we lose the series to Baltimore early in the year. But this is quite literally a series. I don't care. This is quite literally a series we should have swept. And we lose 2-3.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ian.
No, you're good. I was going to say, if you want to be, where the Red Sox want to be this year, they want to be contending. They have to beat teams like this, and they have to sweep and or just win series against teams like the Orioles. No disrespect to the Orioles, because obviously, they're not the worst team. They're a professional MLB team, but, they're not the best team. And that's the thing. They're not contenders. They're not going to win the World Series this year. So when you're the Red Sox and you want to be contenders and you put up a performance like that against the Orioles in the beginning of the year, you did that last year. Cool. You made it to the ALCS, but it still doesn't instill much confidence earlier on in the season, because last year you went on like an 18-game winning streak after that. This year, you haven't even been able to find, a steady combination of pitching and hitting at the same time. So it's not instilling a whole lot of confidence at the beginning of this season so far.
Yeah, when you're playing a team like the Orioles that could barely compete in a AAA league, you're gonna want to put some W's in the books. But it's just these guys, like for example, Tyler Nevin. I used to see him play a whole ton in the minors with the Colorado Rockies organization in AA. That guy's not a major league caliber. any other organization, he'd be AAA starter at best. These are guys that don't belong necessarily in the MLB, unlike guys like Rougned Odor, Anthony Santander, guys off the top of my head that obviously they're solid players, but you don't want to say you lost to the Baltimore Orioles. They got players that probably should be in AAA, and it's not their faults. I mean, no disrespect to the Orioles, obviously, but it sucks to lose to a team like the Orioles.
So I guess we'll just informally, as we always do, get into our players of the series here. Slim pickings kind of for players, but I don't know. For me, I mean, I kind of forgot to prepare this, but I'll just say JD, good job for hitting a homer in the final game for the Red Sox. Evaldi, sorry, for pitcher, going 7 scoreless innings. Those will be my guys for the Red Sox. For the Orioles, I mean, Bradish, good job in your first start, going 6 innings, 2 earned runs.
Nice out, Bradish.
Santander. Yeah, those are my guys for each team. How about you guys?
Entirely agree with you. Santander, Bradish had a good first start. But yeah, for the Red Sox, again, it is slim pickings, but JD with that homer, and then obviously Nady Evaldi. Can I do my worst player of the series? Because I'd like to say Hirokazu Saramura.
Yeah, sure.
He'll become the next Ryan Brazier. I'm calling it now.
I think there's a lot more to the pick from the worst players in the series. So
I agree.
There's a lot more suitable candidates than just Sawamura. But I guess if I had to say something, I guess same thing with you guys about Bradish. He had a great first start, and then I think Ryan Mountcastle. I don't know. He's kind of becoming like Wander Franco, where he just always plays well against the Red Sox for no reason. So there's that. And then for the Sox, I guess I'll take Nate Evaldi for pitching, and I'll take my guy Franchy Cordero for making it back to the big leagues. And he's driving runners in scoring position that the rest of the team doesn't know how to do apparently. So
Ian, do you think he's going to solve our problem at first base? He's in the fold now. We DFA'd
Of course
Shaw.
he is. He's the face of the franchise. He's the franchise. He's the wonder of Worcester. Of course he's going to save the franchise. Why wouldn't he? We wouldn't have traded one of the best hitters in the MLB right now in Andrew Benintendi if we didn't have confidence in Franchy Cordero.
I have a ripped signed photo of Andrew Benintendi. I have a bobblehead that I severed the head off of Andrew Benintendi. I was that salty when we lost him.
It wasn't his fault. He didn't ask to leave.
But I was just that salty.
Gold Glove winner Andrew Benintendi, but hey, we got Josh Winkowski, guys, waiting in the minors. Can't wait for Josh Winkowski.
Actually, he's actually pretty good.
Yes,
he's actually pretty good in the minors. I'm not gonna lie. Winkowski, he's not even that bad. He pitched the other day in Worcester, and he was pretty good. So I don't know.
I'm gonna just say what we're all thinking about first base, though. We're all just waiting on Tristan Cassis. Let's be real here.
Well,
bring the man up.
Yeah.
Bring him up. Bye, Bobby Dahlbeck.
He's in a bit of a slump right now in Worcester. So
shut up! Don't talk about my boy Cassis like that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm the one that has his bobblehead. I don't know what you're talking about. But
I have his first Bowman sitting somewhere around in my room. I guess behind my computer
somewhere.
What about Did I hear correctly, Ian? Is Duran doing pretty well right now down in Worcester, too?
Duran has been going crazy in Worcester right now. He is, I think, on this weekend alone. On Friday, he was a double away from the cycle. On Saturday, he was 3 for 4. And then on Sunday, again, he was 2 for 4, I think. But Cassis and Downs, Jeter Downs also has been really good this year. If we're looking for, potential guys that are going to come up, Jeter Downs is playing super well. I don't have Cassis' first Bowman card, but I do have a Bowman card of Cassis, so I guess that's something. So
nice.
Hey, here's to all our prospects doing well. I mean, we want that to translate to major league success, but yay, our prospects are doing just great as the team struggles at the big league level. But
all right, Ian, big question for you: should I come to Polar Park and see a game?
Do it.
Oh, definitely, for sure.
I went last year.
Will you take a selfie with me if I come to Polar Park and see a game?
Obviously, yeah. Of course. You just gotta let me know. If I'm not, if I'm working, then sure.
Yeah, I'll text you. We'll work it out on a night that you're working.
All right, but
David should come too.
Oh, I went last year. It was fun. I saw 2 games. I saw
Come again.
Me
Do it
and Ian,
again.
me and Ian talked about this. I saw Seabold's first start up at AAA last summer. It was
That's
fun.
sick.
It's a great
Yeah,
ballpark down there.
Polar Park's super nice.
I've never been.
Uh,
I would love to go.
no, that's good to hear about Jeter though, because he had a rough year last year. So it's good to hear he's on to a good start. But
Gotta love Jeter Downs. It's outside of his first name. We don't like his first name.
yeah. So last question before we wrap this up, guys. Who do you think's most to blame for this slow start for the Red Sox this year? Is it the players? Is it Cora? Is it the ownership?
Ryan Brazier.
All Ryan Brazier.
Oh, Ryan Brazier.
I think it's the team collectively as a whole.
Yeah.
Because you know, just everything's not working right now. So I feel like that's I don't think you can blame one specific thing, but because, you know, it's not like just the pitching is bad. The offense is not as good as we want it to be. So I think the only players you can't blame at this moment in time is probably Rafael Devers and Xander Bogaerts. So and Nate Eovaldi, I guess, to an extent.
And
yeah,
Doogie.
Doogie struggled on this road trip though. So I saw earlier he was hitting like 130 on the road trip. So
Yeah, but the bats are hibernating. They got to get woken up if we want to be a contender in this major league, especially in the AL East. Dominant teams like the Yankees, the Rays, and the Blue Jays, they're going to keep winning games, and if we keep losing, then I mean, I feel like I'm speaking on a very obvious thing right now, but obviously, if they keep winning and we keep losing, then we're just not going to compete.
Yeah, you got to win these gimme games right before we wrap it up. I mean, I think the Tampa Bay Rays, you know, we face each team in our division 19 times. And I think last year the Rays beat the Orioles like 17 or 18 times or something like that. You just got to take advantage of the gimme games, and the Red Sox didn't do that. And certainly alarming. But that is going to do it for this post-series recap. I mean, thank you all for tuning into this. Red Sox have another rough series. They look to rebound against the hot Los Angeles Angels starting tomorrow. It's a 3-game set. Back at Fenway, Sox are back home after a extensive road trip. Make sure to follow all of us on our personals. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the like button on this video. Follow us on Twitter. No, I did not forget that, Brady. Follow us at BSML.RedSox.
I'm the admin.
There we go. Follow our Instagram, at BSML.RedSox. We'll have content coming towards you guys every day, starting over my words per usual. But that's going to do it for this recap. Thank you guys, and we will talk to you soon.